And welcome everyone to Learn a Trade. My name is Kevin Tate. Glad to be here with you all today. Thank you for joining me. Today's broadcast is titled Bunn JDF-2 Iced Coffee Machine Repair, Water Bath, and Water Pump Replacement. Now, just to give you a little background on this particular job here, this was a machine that was at a convenience store location, and the service provider that provides service to this store is they're not too familiar with the JDF-2 models, and they noticed that the unit, no matter how many times they went there a number of times, and they had continuous leaks from this unit, so they diagnosed it as having a leak from the water bath, which is it's a container that sits in the base of the unit, and sits at the base of the machine, and it's basically a plastic container, and it's covered with foam. It's it holds the water, and then also there is a water pump that is inserted into the water bath, that container. There's a pump in there, and the refrigeration lines also are submerged in this container. And this is an autofill unit, so it's connected to a water source, and the machine will fill with water. It'll fill that water bath with water, and then it'll get to a certain level. And once the water reaches the water level probe, the water will stop filling the water bath. And then from there, the refrigeration system will kick in, and that coil that is submerged in the water will freeze the water in that water bath. And that pump, it's a circulate pump. So that water pump circulates that ice water, and then that pump will also send that cold water up through the refrigeration system into the evaporator coil, which is in the top portion, which you'll see in a few minutes. But that cold water that's circulating through the evaporator is used to cool the inside cabinet of the iced coffee machine, and that enables the cabinet to get down below between 35 to 40 degrees, and then that keeps the coffee mixture boxes. There's two boxes, because this is just a two flavor. So they'll have like a hazelnut iced coffee on one side, and maybe a Colombian coffee on the other side for people that want to get iced coffee. And that cabinet, those boxes remain in that cabinet, and they stay cold, so that when the customer gets ice, they can go ahead and go to the JDF-2 machine and dispense the cold coffee into their cup of ice, and then they have a nice iced coffee. So what was happening with this unit was it was continuing to leak onto the counter and around the machine and stuff. So the other service provider diagnosed it with a leak, and then they suggested that the convenience store replace the machine because the repair is costly. But for some reason, I'm not too sure why the convenience store decided to go ahead with the repair of this, because usually I do get orders for um, these machines to be replaced, and then when the new machine arrives, then I would go in with the new machine and install it. And then I will take the old machine out, and then either we would decide to refurbish it, or we would dispose of it for them. So with this particular one, I just wanted to kind of share some of the steps with you that I take in replacing the water bath and replacing the water pump. Because if you're when you see how far you have to go with disassembling this, you're pretty much disassembling the whole machine. And I had to I had to remove rivets that hold the frame together. I had to remove rivets to be able to expose the water bath and get the old water bath out and put the new water bath in. I had to remove the refrigeration system itself, lifting it out of the old water bath, and then putting that aside. So when I had all of that apart, I went ahead and replaced the water pump also. I replaced the water pump, and I also replaced the distribution line of the water pump too. It's a beverage tubing, but the beverage tubing that was on the original beverage tubing that was on this was pretty beat up. So I went ahead and replaced that also. So let me just see if I could share that screen, and then we'll get into it. There we go. Let you see if I can expand it there a little bit. So this is the JDF-2 machine. I'm just going to go over a few of the sections on here that you will see. You'll see much closer as I go through these steps. But let's start right up here in the cabinet area. This is the cabinet area that I mentioned that gets below 40 degrees, and this is where the boxes would go that hold the product, that hold the iced coffee product. And this is the blower fan. This blower fan is what sends the cool air that's coming off of the evaporator, sends it into the cabinet area, and then that cabinet is insulated. You can see it has the door seal on it and everything. So it's like a small refrigerator, and it keeps the product cold. So this is that evaporator fan area, and this is the cabinet area. Down below is the control board. Right in here, which you'll see later, I have we have the control board down here, the transformer, the relay, the start relay, and the control switches for the compressor and the pump to operate. And then down here, there's a dispense switch that you can turn on or off. And then here is a drain tube right over here. And then you can also, the fill tube, it's sticking out the side right here. I already have the side panels off and everything. So there's one, two, four panels all together. And I end up removing all of the panels off of here. And then there's a front splash guard panel that goes on it, and then a drip tray, which you can see the drip tray and the nozzles are already off, and they're sitting over here. And right over on the far right, that's the new water bath that I'm going to install on this. Now this is a side view so that you can see the setup. This is the cabinet compartment. This is the water bath that I'm going to be taking out. And you can see the framing of it. It's all right here. And most of the framing, as you can see, it's rivets. So these rivets have to be removed. I have to remove this one here, this one here, and then I don't have the back panel off yet, but I'll be taking that off. And then there's rivets on each corner, each lower corner that I have to remove also. And I'm removing those rivets on both sides so that I will be able to pull out the refrigeration system. You can see here right up top is the compressor. I have my compressor compartment, my condenser, and my condenser fan right in here. And once I get all of the rivets off on each side, I will remove this top panel, and then I'm going to end up pulling this whole assembly, the whole refrigeration assembly, out of the water bath. So you kind of have an idea on how I'm going about doing this repair. This is just the opposite side. This is the left side. You can see the compressor up top, condenser fan. Okay. And then this is the wiring for the water pump. You'll see the water pump a little clearer on the next shot, on the next few shots. And then this is the wiring harness, which goes along the bottom of the cabinet area and then down into the control board area. Here's my contactor, my relay, my I'm sorry, that's my transformer right there. And these are my control switches for the compressor and for program mode to go into programming and stuff if I needed to. And that was the left side of it. Right here, I wanted to show you the control board. I've already taken the control board off. This control board sits up against this rear panel that you see back here. Okay, there's 4 screws that have nuts that secure this control board to the rear panel back here. But all of this has to be removed. So I just removed the board off of the panel, and I'm going to remove all of the wiring that's going to this board. All of this wiring is going to be pulled off of the board so that I can set the board aside and then proceed with the removal of the old water bath. So just to give you a tip, it's always good to you do have the schematic available on the back panel, this lower panel that's already off. There is a schematic on the back of that you could follow. But I do suggest that you take a picture with your phone of the board while all the wiring is connected. That way you can always refer back to it, because you have to remove all of these wires off of the board. But at least you'll have something that you can go back to and see, just to double check to make sure that you have all your wires in the correct place. Because all of these wires will have to be removed. This dispense switch right here, the on-off dispense right there, those 2 wires, it's 2 black wires, those will be removed. Your wires that are going to the program switch and to the on-off switch for the compressor and water pump, those will be removed also. So it's good to take a picture of the wiring with your phone so that you can always refer back to that. So just kind of keep that as a mental note. Then right here, I'm just showing you the rear panel where the control board mounts to, and then this is the contactor relay setup right here. And with this, I really won't have to remove the relay wiring. I'll be able to keep that on there, but that's just a picture of that rear panel. That's where the control board goes. And this is a picture of the actual unit, the front door assembly. You could see that. And like I said, they have like 2 different flavors: cold brew mocha and a Colombian. And then right in here, I'm just showing how I've loosened, taken out all the screws that were holding in this cabinet area. I got those all out, and I was able to pull the cabinet area forward. As you can see, there's slots right here. There's 2 slots that seat in. If I pushed it back, they would fall right into these slots, and then you could secure the cabinet with these 2 screws. There's 2 screws on each side of those. So you just pull that cabinet forward. I pulled it forward some just to give me some clearance. And then right here, you can see a line. There's a water line. This is a water inlet line. Now, this is coming from that bottom water tank, okay? The water bath. So that tube is coming out of that tank and then into the cabinet area. That's where the water comes from, that when they dispense product. So that line also has to be removed before I can pull off this cabinet. Okay, so that has to be pulled out. And then there's a connector on the opposite side, which is inside the cabinet, that will have to be removed, which you'll see in a few minutes. And this is just showing you the cabinet area again from the other side. There's wires on this as well. There's a temp sensor probe right here. You don't have to pull out the complete temp sensor probe. You can keep that temp sensor probe up there, and then there's another thermostat right up here. This terminal right here. I've disconnected that already. I've disconnected those wires. I disconnected the probe wire. The probe wire is right here. And these wires are just running into the harness and then down to the board. So you disconnect your thermostat wire and your probe wire. Okay, you disconnect those. There's a inlet hose for the cold water. This is where the cold water flows through the evaporator. This connects to the upper portion of the evaporator. And then there's another tube, just like this one, that's connecting below on the lower side of on the lower end of the evaporator. So that water comes up, it runs in through the evaporator, and then comes out through the other tube and then back into the water bath. And then that water pump, that circulate pump, circulates that water over and over. So it just continually is sending cold water through that evaporator, through these hoses. So those hoses I had to disconnect also in order to pull this cabinet off. And right here, I'm just showing you that tube again that's running into the cabinet. That's for the water to be dispensed to mix with the product. And I'm going to be removing that tube as well. This is a connector for the dispense platform, and that dispense platform sits inside this cabinet. It sits inside the cabinet, and there's a there's a panel that sits over that dispense platform, and then the product boxes sit on top of that platform. But that dispense platform has a harness also, and that harness gets plugged into this terminal right here. But in order to remove the cabinet, I'm going to have to remove this terminal. This terminal just pops right out. It's got two tabs on the sides of it. Just push those in and push this terminal out, and then you'll have an empty space there, and then that clears everything up so that you can completely pull off the cabinet. As you can see, I pushed it through. That cabinet, that terminal is out now, and you can just leave it there until you're ready to reassemble the unit, and then you just make sure you resecure it back into this area. And right down here, you can see this is the circulate pump, and you'll see later on, this is the pump that I'm gonna be replacing too. And right here is that tube that I was showing you that was coming in from the back. That tube right there is going to be pulled out, but in order to pull it out, you have to disconnect this fitting. This is a quick connect fitting that the product platform plugs into, and you have to, it's already disconnected, but you have to remove this fitting in order to pull out your pull this tube out in order to remove the cabinet. There's my board again, just showing you the board. And you know, it's important that you remember where these wires should connect to. As many of them, as you can see, they're the same 2-wire terminals. So that you don't put them in the wrong place, you want to take a picture to be sure that you're aware of where they go. Okay. And maybe in another video, I'll go over the positions, because everything is pretty much labeled here. Let me see if I can show it to you now. Right here, this one is for your fan. Okay, this is for your condenser fan. This one here, the gray and the white wire, that's for your cabinet. Okay, sensor for your cabinet. And this one right here, the orange and the white wire on the bottom, that one's for your water bath. Okay, so that is all, they all communicate with the board, telling it what the temperatures are, what the water levels are, and stuff like that. So it's always good to make sure you take a picture so that you know where everything is going to. Right here, I'm just showing you this is where power is coming in. These are my line wires. Okay, you have your neutral and your black wire right here, and your ground. Ground is connects down below to the chassis of the unit, and then these power wires, they connect to the transformer. And now I have the cabinet removed. I have that set aside right now, but I have the cabinet removed, and now you're able to see this is where the lower water bath is located at. And as I was telling you, that this is the water pump, the circulate pump, and that circulate pump is submerged into the water bath, and it circulates the water. And then here I'll be removing, once I remove all of the refrigeration portion of the machine, then I'll have access to this, and I can go ahead and replace it and put the new one in. And right here you can see the condenser fan, the condenser, and the compressor. And these are the low side and high side lines for the refrigerant. And the refrigerant is all running into this water bath. Okay, right now this is just another picture of the water bath that I'm going to be taking out. And you can see the pump, water pumps right there. Now right here is the refrigeration system. So you can see I have it removed. Right back here you can see the old, this is the original water bath that this refrigeration system was sitting in. This is the top cover that you saw of the water bath. Here is the water pump right here. These are the refrigeration coils. So, you know, like I was explaining earlier, this may help you. Um, these are the refrigeration coils. Okay, so the water this is submerged into this water bath, and the water that's in here, this pump circulates that water around so that it's not stagnant, and then it doesn't freeze solid, but it does freeze. And the refrigeration is going through these lines, and it freezes the water that it's submerged in. And this pump keeps that water circulating. So there's like a wall of ice around this, and then like in the center of this, the water is just in motion. The water is in motion from this water pump, and this pump pumps that cold water out of here and up through the upper evaporator, which is the cabinet area that I've already taken off. So as you can see, this machine is totally dismantled right now. It's all apart. This is why with most customers, most convenience stores, they would not want to pay for the labor and the parts of this job to be done. But in this case, which is good for us as a business, they decided to get the repair done. And it does take some time to do it, but it's all time and material. Okay, so it's a good job. It takes time to do and get through. You really have to be able to do this in a shop area, on a bench or something. This is something that you wouldn't do on site because there's really not enough room. But back to this refrigeration area. This is the whole refrigeration system right here, and this is what creates that cold water for there to be the iced coffee coming out for their customers. So I have that all apart, and I set that aside because now what I'm going to do is disassemble this section for the pump so that I can replace this pump. That's another angle for you to see there. The refrigeration system, the coil, and then there's a smaller coil in the center of this one, and that's what pumps that. There, this one here will just pump that cold water into the cabinet to mix with the product, and then that's the way they will get that iced coffee to dispense. And this coil here with the copper is the coil that keeps water bath iced. Okay, keeps that water that's sitting in the water bath, it keeps it frozen. This is the old water bath that I'm removing. Okay, this is the one I'm removing, and this one is the one that was leaking. You probably can't really see it here, but right in here, there's a crack right here. There's a small crack right there, and there's like a hairline crack going along this area of the tank, and there's another hairline crack along this area of the tank also. So when this fills with water, and all of that water um, was just seeping through these cracks, and this is why they were getting that leakage continually. And right here, I've removed the old tank, and this is the new tank. This is the drain tube, and there's a fill tube. Okay, and maybe at a later point, I will do a video on how to properly fill these units, because you can fill them through this fill tube. Okay, you connect this tube to one of the nozzles, to the right side nozzle, and then you go into program mode, and then you can press the dispense button, and it'll dispense the water into this tank, and then you'll be able to uh, watch this the fill tube. You'll be able to see the water rising to a certain point, and then you'll be able to let it stop filling so that it doesn't overflow the tank. But I'll go over that at some other point. But as you can see here, I got the cabinet removed. Everything's removed. This is the refrigeration system and the pump, and this is the new water bath. That's the inside of the new water bath. This here is the old pump. This is the old pump that I removed. I removed that pump out, and I'm going to install a new pump. This is the outlet line. So the pump sucks in that water, and that cold water, and pushes it through a tube that's connected right here. And then that tube goes into the cabinet, as I was showing you. Or that tube goes into the cabinet, into the evaporator coil. It flushes through the evaporator coil so that it keeps that cabinet cold. There's the tube right there. This is the new tube, and I put some new insulation over it. But that's the new beverage tubing that I put over that outlet port. And right here, I have the refrigeration system back in place so that I can mount it over the water bath, the new water bath. And then I'm gonna proceed to reconnect my control board, and then start getting everything reassembled again. So that's the new tank. It has the new pump installed, and right now I'm going to go ahead and get this um, refrigeration system secured, because I'm going to have to put new rivets in. So with this job, you would need to have a rivet gun and rivets to insert into the side holes here, and secure this frame. Why they use the rivets, I really don't know. I mean, it would be a lot easier with screws, just using screws to secure it, but Bunn uses the rivets for it. That's just how it is. And then right here, I'm just showing that I mounted or I'm in the process of mounting the control board. We have the new pump in there and the new tank. And then I ran that new water tube that's going to get connected into the evaporator on the cabinet. So that's all secured there. And then I'm just going to put everything back together again as we went through it. And let me just get back to then it's yeah back like this with the panels. I'll put the panels back on and everything, but everything's gonna be back reassembled. Okay, so that's like the most important thing that you want to look at when doing this water bath, because you're going to be totally disassembling this whole unit. So you want to kind of do everything, taking your time, going step by step, and not rushing with it, because you're going to miss stuff. So you want to go back. I don't have any clips of the unit in operation. Basically, I just hooked it back up to water and allowed it to sit and in the on position so that it can go ahead and freeze down that water bath. And then after the weekend, I'll go back and check this unit out, make sure that it's cold enough. I usually keep it about 2 to 3 days, just dispensing over and over again, dispensing product, and then letting it freeze down, um, opening the door, keeping the door open for a few minutes, and make sure that the lights are all functioning, because there's 3 lights on these machines. You have your water bath lights, your cabinet light, and your compressor light. And those 3 lights should all be green. Okay. Let me just take a look at see if I could get to another. Yeah, this might be able to, you might be able to, yeah, right here. So you see there's 3 not black knobs right here. Okay, so there's right above these knobs are lights. There's a green light and a red light on each of them. And what you'll have is you'll have a water bath. Your cabinet will be have a green light. Your water bath will have a green light, and your compressor will have a green light. Um, and you want to have all 3 of those with green lights. If one of these lights is red, then there's there's either the water bath or the cabinet is probably not up to temperature yet. So you'll want to make sure that you let it run long enough, let it freeze down good, and then when you come back to it, you should have 3 green lights. Um, if say like if the cabinet light is on for a long period of time, if the red light is on for a long period of time, that means it's not getting up to temperature, and it'll probably go into an error. Okay. And most times when it's in an error, it'll be because either the water is not up to the level within the water bath. It's not at the proper level in the water bath, or there's a refrigeration issue. Like one of like the compressor is could be given a problem. There could be a low charge, or anything like that could be causing that problem, or that relay could probably not be kicking in properly for it. So you'll wanna go through, once you got it, once it's all assembled, you'll want to go through and make sure you have the lights are correct, and then make sure that it's freezing down and that you're able to dispense. And then once you're able to dispense, you can dispense some from it, and then it should be good to go. It should give you um, at least I mean, it should give you between 35 to 40 degrees of a temperature reading. Okay, but this is just one of those jobs that came up um, this past Friday, and I was really surprised because I've never um, had it where the convenience store wasn't willing to replace the unit, because usually they don't want to pay high labor costs to replace the tank and the water pump. But in this case, they chose to do that. And just to make you aware of it, I mean, these are good, good jobs to get. And if you have the parts available, you can always order the parts and stuff like that. So I mean, once you put in a quote, for it to do the job, most of these convenience stores, they'll just say, can you get us a new one? And in this case, they didn't say that. They just asked to have me replace the tank and that water pump, even after they seen the quote. So I mean, it's a good thing as far as business goes, but it's not normal. I'm not too sure on how they were thinking about that, because when it comes down to it, especially for a convenience store, if you have one of these, you always you want it up and running, and it's iced coffee in summertime, so customers are gonna get the iced coffee. You're gonna get a good amount of iced coffee sales. But maybe they were thinking that it would be faster if they got it repaired, um, which isn't always the case. But the way that I'm looking at it is, if they would have replaced this, it probably would have taken 3 to 4 days for them to get the machine. Okay, and that's 3 to 4 days getting the machine and being installed in their store and ready to use once it freezes down. But in this case, since they decided to go with the repair, it's going to take, I'd say, between 6 to 8 days before they get this machine back, because I got to make sure that this machine is functioning, and there's no telling, like, if anything else could come up. I mean, there still could be refrigeration issues with it. So I hope you kind of understand what I'm saying. But you know, that's why I was surprised that they wanted to go ahead with the repair, because they could have gotten a new machine with a warranty, because this is an older machine. This is not a warranty job. Okay, so they're paying for this flat out, and for labor and materials. Um, so that's why it was kind of a different thing for them say go ahead with the repair. But by all means, if you run into something like that, take advantage of it. Just let them know that you're gonna have to pull the equipment out. Pull the equipment out, take it to your home, your garage, your shop, or whatever. If you're working for another company, bring it back to the shop. Go ahead and put it on. Set it up so that you can break it down and start with making sure that you have your part numbers and for the tank and for that pump, and any clamps or tubing that you're going to need. Get all that stuff ordered, and then go ahead and pull the machine out of the location, bring it back so that you could take your time and get the job done right. So I that's all I'll have for now, everyone. I'm gonna sign off. I'm at about 45 minutes on this, but I hope that was clear to everyone. And if not, just drop a line on the email and ask any questions that you want on that. Um, I will do a follow up video on this, but I wanted to present this because it entails a lot. There's a lot going on with this repair, from breaking this whole system down. I mean, this was like totally taking the system apart just to replace two parts. Um, but again, for business, it's good. It's a good money maker, because you're getting straight parts and labor. It's not a contract job. It's not a warranty job. It's not like a flat rate type thing, but it's time and material. So hopefully this is helpful to some of you out there. And for those that weren't aware, this is a Bunn JDF-2 iced coffee machine. Um, and I do go over these in some of my other videos. So if you want to go back into some of my other videos, you can take a look at the JDF-2 videos from there. I think I do have a few out there that you can look at. But if you have any questions, you can definitely email me. Don't forget, for those of you that are new, you can request a free guide, a free industry guide. Um, go to our website also. Um, Learn to trade online. You can check out our website and see about the videos that I have posted on the website, and I got a lot of helpful information and resources on the website as well. There's another channel that you should definitely check out if you're interested in finding out more about the industry and about different companies and uh, going independent. If you're thinking about being an independent service provider or even working for another company, Mike Reed with commercial equipment repair, he's got a excellent channel. Check out his channel as well. And there's a lot of others out there that have information on this service industry. And I'm telling you that the opportunities are out there. I hope you all take advantage of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some good information out of it. And by all means, check us out again on the next job. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Be well and stay blessed.